my gosh, you guys! I'm so excited to introduce you to the founder of Save the Frogs. I'm so happy I was able to get to interview him. Okay, are you ready? Interview start! Hi, I'm Mim, a wholesome kitsune Vtuber. I have the ability to transform. To save the froggies, I've decided to transform into a frog myself. I also use what I call Mimglish, which is where I add mim to words, kind of like Mimazing. So feel free to add any kind of Mimglish as you speak. You're welcome to. Don't have to, but if you're interested, that's cool. I'm super excited and happy to have you here. I want to introduce today Dr. Kerry Kriger, the founder of Save the Frogs. Please go ahead and give yourself a little introduction and tell us a little bit about you. Thank you.
Hi, Mim. It is Mim fantastic to be here. I am Save the Frogs founder, Dr. Kerry Kriger, and I love talking about frogs. I've been a full-time amphibian biologist for over 20 years, so it's great to be here and to be able to share the frog knowledge with the Mimlings. And let's see, I grew up on the East Coast of the United States, and I was fortunate because my parents built a pond on the property when I was young, and that attracted lots of wildlife, including frogs. And I spent a lot of time hanging out at the pond and listening to the frogs call, like, ooh, ooh. And I got inspired to protect wildlife and nature. I spent a lot of time traveling around the world, and unfortunately, I saw a lot of habitat destruction, and I wanted to do something about that. And I started thinking about what's the best way to save the planet. And I found out, or I thought that I should be saving wildlife. And I found out frogs were rapidly disappearing. And in 2008, I founded Save the Frogs as the world's first and only public charity dedicated exclusively to protecting amphibians. The mission of Save the Frogs is to protect amphibian populations and to promote a society that respects and appreciates nature and wildlife. And I'm looking forward to discussing lots of projects that we have at Save the Frogs all around the world. We've got a great Save the Frogs community, supporters in over 100 countries, and we hope we can get some new supporters from the Mimling and your community.
Thank you so much. We're so excited to have you here. Okay, so I have a few questions to kind of get to know more about your organization and what you're doing. So the first question I have is, what inspired you to start the Save the Frogs organization? So you kind of touched on that in your intro a little bit. I don't know if there's any more that you want to add.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I can add some more to it. Yeah, as I said, let's see. I'd sleep outside I would sleep inside, but with the windows open in the summer when I was a kid, and I would hear the frogs calling, and I'm sure that had a lot to do with it. And I'd see frogs jumping around all the time. So that was one thing of not being in the city. I got to actually experience frogs and lots of other kind of wildlife, and I'd hang out down at the stream and be outside a lot whenever I could. And then when I finished university, I spent about a year traveling around the world and visiting lots of national parks and camping out and being outside. And as I said, I'd see habitat destruction, and I ended up going to Hawaii for a summer and volunteering with biologists who were studying endangered birds. And that convinced me, because I actually have a mechanical engineering degree, so I didn't have any endangered species experience or anything like that. But that few months in Hawaii convinced me that I wanted to return to university, do my PhD in environmental science. And I found out that frogs were rapidly disappearing, and at the time people were not sure why that was. So that kind of intrigued me. And also, I love hanging out at streams. So I thought, hey, frogs need help. Frogs hang out at streams. I'd like to hang out at streams and help save the frogs. So I ended up going to Australia, and I spent 4 years in Australia doing my PhD research there on the ecology of chytridiomycosis in Eastern Australia. Chytridiomycosis is an amphibian disease. It's actually the worst disease in recorded history for any type of for biodiversity in general. It's driven 100 amphibian species to complete extinction, and it's still causing problems both in the USA and around the world. So I got a lot of excellent experience and met a lot of people, amphibian biologists, when I was in Australia. And when I finished up, I was writing up scientific publications about my research and reading tons of publications. And it kind of struck me that the end of a lot of scientific publications about frogs would state what the problem was that was happening to frogs, but not say anything about who was going to implement the solutions suggested in those papers. So I took it on myself to start Save the Frogs, and that's in part to translate that science into action. And also because I was a grad student and I knew that grad students need and like and benefit from assistance such as grants. I wanted to start a Save the Frogs grants program and primarily for graduate students and young early career researchers to help them out get done what they needed. To date, we've given out over $180,000 in Save the Frogs grants to not just researchers, but amphibian enthusiasts and conservationists from at least 20 countries. And we have a whole lot of other programs as well that I'd be happy to talk about.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, it's frogtastic. Oh, that's so cool. All right, so next question I have for you is a question that I know a lot of people have, and that is, what are some everyday things that people can do in their homes or where they live, or when they're outside to help amphibians? Is there anything that people can just do in their daily lives to help them?
Sure. Yeah. The number one thing you should do is start thinking about your own ecological footprint. That's your impact on the planet. And, we all have an impact on the planet. Hopefully we have a good impact, but we all also have a negative impact from the things that we use and buy and dispose of, and who we spend our money with, and whether we reuse, reduce, recycle, etc. So start thinking about your own ecological footprint. And aside from that, though, if people are out there are homeowners or landowners or community or manage property or have the ability to influence people who own or manage property, I would start thinking about improving your own land. So that's planting native vegetation, not chopping down trees unnecessarily, but also things like, can you build a frog pond? And or would you want to build a frog pond? Because on the Save the Frogs website, which is savethefrogs.com, which I built and have been adding to for many, many years, it's got at least 1,000 pages of amphibious education, and I encourage you to go there to Bonsuri Bliss go to Save the Frogs Academy. I'm also a Bonsuri player, musician, so I have 2 academies. So actually go to Save the Frogs Academy, savethefrogs.com/academy, and we have a wetlands course in there. So go to the wetlands course, and there's thorough information on how to build a backyard wetland. It does not cost a lot. You don't need a lot of space. A small wetland can be just like 5-6 feet across, or maybe even smaller, and attract frogs. So, with a small amount of resources, but the key is finding a place to put the pond and a happy landowner who will let it stay there and not destroy it, and put some native vegetation around it. You can attract frogs, and that's definitely one of the best things you can do, because habitat destruction is actually the number one reason that frogs are disappearing and declining in numbers around the world. So the best way to combat that is to plant trees, ensure that you have good vegetation, and to provide water sources, wetlands where frogs can live.
Nice. And we do have your SaveTheFrogs.org, right? Link
SaveTheFrogs.com
linked in our information too, from my website as well.
Thank you.
So so people can go straight to your website from there as well. All right. Okay, so here's a question. Are you looking for volunteers? So I know you mentioned you do a lot of grants, but do you also look for volunteers to help in any of your projects? And if so, what kinds of volunteering positions do you have in case anybody's looking to help?
Yes, fantastic question. We can certainly find a volunteer position that you will enjoy if you are dedicated to helping the frogs. So we have a page, savethefrogs.com/volunteers, where there's an application form, and there's probably like 10 types of projects listed there. But really, anyone who's dedicated, I encourage them to go there and read through the page and apply, and we can find something for you that you will enjoy. So we also have volunteer meetings that take place online on Monday so that people can learn more and get involved. So yes, we are a volunteer run organization, and we definitely appreciate whether that could be you have some actual professional skills, graphic design, video design, web design, communication skills. If you're a social media influencer or have a big reach, then sharing, connect with us at Save the Frogs on all the main social media platforms and share what we do. But also, whatever you want to do, if you're truly dedicated, then contact us. And I do encourage you, even before you do that, you could go to Save the Frogs Academy, and we've got probably 30 plus courses there. Go through some of that, educate yourself. That's number one, is educate yourself, because then you will already know how to help. You'll be inspired by the things that you read on the site and the people that you virtually meet on the site who have been doing stuff, and you'll get ideas. And then ideally you could come to us and say, Kerry, I want to do this or that.
Yeah.
How can you help me accomplish that?
That's awesome. So many good resources. Okay. So I know that you work worldwide to help amphibians. Could you tell me some of the places that you've helped and how you went about doing that?
Yeah, let's see. Our biggest international project was in Ghana in West Africa. For 9 years, we had a very active Save the Frogs Ghana branch. And let's see how that started. I just knew one amphibian biologist from having exchanged a couple emails. He was from there and living there at the time. And I went there and we got together and we formed a university chapter at the main science university in Ghana.
Wow.
Gave a bunch of presentations, met with government, parks managers and university academics, and just met the community, spread the Save the Frogs message, and got a lot happening there. And over the years, they planted about 15,000 trees for the critically endangered giant squeaker frog. And held numerous Save the Frogs Day events. That's one of the best things that people out there can do. If you like to go out into your community, whether virtually or in person, Save the Frogs Day takes place on April 28th every year. So start thinking about how you can spread the word on Save the Frogs Day. And we had lots of campaigns, such as to reduce the frog meat trade, frog legs selling and collecting of live frogs, to reduce pesticides, to protect land that was threatened for use as mountaintop removal mining. And let's see, currently we've got Save the Frogs India going strong. We have a online meeting I encourage everyone to join. It's called Save the Frogs South Asia Meetups. It takes place the final Saturday of every month. You can go on the Save the Frogs website. At the top of the site, there's a search bar, so just put in whatever you're looking for, such as South Asia Meetups. And we have a lot going on currently in Nepal, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and India. I just spent 6 months in India and a couple weeks in Nepal, and I was giving presentations and meeting with a lot of university students and professors there and community members. So let's see. Yeah, we have stuff all around the world. Actually, the place that has the most threatened amphibian species is in Latin America. And we've got Save the Frogs Mexico, Save the Frogs Ecuador, Save the Frogs Buenos Aires. We've held lots of eco tours. If people like to travel and meet in real life other Save the Frogs enthusiasts and myself, then check out savethefrogs.com/eco tours. Usually once or twice a year, we'll hold a 10 to 12 day eco tour where we take frog lovers out into the wild to find frogs and learn about nature and wildlife. So come join us there. So those usually take place in Latin America because it's such a froggy place. Yeah, in the United States, we've built a lot of wetlands. We've built at least 30 wetlands in the United States. Some of those are large wetlands. We partner with other nonprofit organizations, private landowners, government organizations, whoever, schools, to get wetlands built and get frogs protected. And we've also gotten lots of legislation in the United States. We got the United States Fish and Wildlife Service to prevent the entry into the United States of over 200 salamander species that are known carriers of an amphibian disease that has decimated amphibian populations in Europe. So to date, that's reduced the influx of non-native salamander species by at least 600,000 salamanders that did not enter the United States. And to date, over the 6 or 7 years of that legislation, that disease, which is called or it's caused by a fungus called Batrachochytrium salamandrivorans, the salamander-eating chytrid fungus. That's what it's known as. That has not been detected in the United States. So that's really good. We've also gotten frog legs sales ban or frog importation banned in the state, bullfrog importation banned in the state of California, which took about 15 years of efforts because governments can move really slow. So whatever you're doing out there for the environment, you got to be dedicated to it and stick with it, and then you will have success.
Wow, yeah, 15 years. That's a long fight, but glad you made it.
It wasn't. We weren't expecting it to be that difficult because it was always so clear that the non-native American bullfrogs being imported primarily for food were causing all kinds of trouble eating native wildlife and spreading disease. But that's just how it goes with the government sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you for being persistent.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow, that's very cool. Okay. Yeah, that's so cool. Like, just so many opportunities, so many places that you're doing all this wonderful effort. So thank you for that.
Yeah, well, we appreciate your assistance, and everyone out there, if you can donate funds to the Save the Frogs project, either directly through Mim and Mim's donation link or savethefrogs.com/donate in the future, then we appreciate it and we put it to good use.
Yeah, thank you. That's super amazing. Yeah, so during this fundraising event that I'm doing over these 3 days, we certainly encourage you to donate either way, wherever you'd like. But if you donate through my site, I'll be able to track the our goal, and for every $25 donated, we have an art raffle going on. So we have some really super amazing artists that are donating their commissioned work to winners that will be announced at the end of the 3 days. So that's super exciting, and all of the donations go straight to Dr. Kriger's organization. And I also have some froggy merch that we've created, so t-shirts and keychains and things like that, and stickers that are related to the VTubers that are participating, and all of the profits from that are going straight to the donation. But you're certainly absolutely welcome to just go straight to the savethefrogs.com site and donate there as well. Thank you. I have a couple more questions for you. Let's see. Oh, this is a fun one. What are your favorite frog species, and why? I'll start really quick with mine. Mine is the phantasmal frog, and it's mostly because it kind of looks like me.
Okay, good. That's a good reason. Well, let's see. Mine is the southern orange-eyed tree frog. It's one of the main frogs that I was researching in Australia. It's called Litoria chloris is its scientific name. And they've got really amazing eyes, and they like to, or they come out to breed and call and find a mate during the heavy rains, and they live in the rainforest, often on the sides of waterfalls because there's rock pools that form next to the waterfalls. And they're usually found out there where it's, you're out in the wild usually. So it's kind of the sound of the wild. They're all calling like, so I
cool.
like those frogs. Yeah, it's actually the logo frog of Save the Frog. So if you look at our logo,
yeah.
Frog
Yeah, that's so cute.
Big
I love
orange
that frog.
googly eyes. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you. That's so cool. That's really neat that it like lives on the side of waterfalls. That sounds like super cool. Super amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Oh, do you have a favorite frog trivia or fun fact about frogs? Something people might not know.
Yeah, let's see. Frog trivia. Certain frog species can jump at least 28 times their body length. So I thought that would be, really cool if we could do that, or if we could learn from the frogs as we do learn a lot of things. When frogs are not extinct, we have a lot to learn from them and improve the existence of humans in ways other than just living in a world that's cool because frogs are around. They actually provide us with lots of knowledge through scientific research.
Cool. Yeah. That's wow. 28 times, did you say?
Yes.
Wow, that's really high. That's pretty incredible. I can't imagine myself jumping that high. That's cool. Okay, I think it's super amazing that you've been able to help pass local, state, and federal legislation on behalf of amphibians. Can you tell me and my fans a few of some of the legislations that you've helped to pass and how that helps the amphibians in those regions? I know you've talked a little bit about some of them, but if there's any in particular that you want to add to.
Yeah, well, we got the federal legislation banning the importation of over 200 non-native salamander species. We got the state of California to stop importing non-Native American bullfrogs. We also got, long before the state acted, we got the city and county of Santa Cruz to ban the importation and sale of American bullfrogs. And we've also gotten the state of California to list the California tiger salamander as a threatened species in the state, helping it gain protection. And we've taken part in campaigns that have helped foothill yellow-legged frogs gain endangered species protection. There's probably been some other things, such as we helped get the state of North Carolina to name a state salamander and a state frog. We also got California state amphibian, the California red-legged frog. And a lot of that is driven by people out there like Mimlings who are interested in frogs, who take it upon themselves to contact their politicians. And actually, if you go to the Save the Frogs Day webpage or type in proclamations into the search bar, you can find examples of Save the Frogs Day proclamations that have been sent out successfully to politicians who have declared Save the Frogs Day an official day to their community. And that helps educate the politicians and helps them get the word out about amphibians.
That's super amazing. Yeah, let's get Save the Frogs Day everywhere, all over the U.S. Let's go.
That would be awesome.
That's so cool. Okay. Here's a good one. Is there anything that you're most proud of that you've been able to accomplish with everything that you've done? I know you've done a lot of really, really cool things. Is there something else that you're super, super proud of?
Yeah, well, I'll say people, please, or Mimlings, go out there to savethefrogs.com/accomplishments, and we have a list of a lot of our main accomplishments. I think for me, in general, when I started Save the Frogs, and when I, before I started Save the Frogs, when I just got into protecting amphibians, there were not any websites dedicated to the protection of amphibians. There were not any organizations dedicated to it. It would be extremely rare to meet anyone who knew that frogs were in trouble. One thing I haven't mentioned is that 1/3 of amphibian species around the world are threatened with extinction. And through the work of Save the Frogs, we have inspired thousands and thousands of people, far more. We've educated millions of people through our website, but even getting people from from the stage where they don't know anything about frogs all the way through the stage where they have a degree in environmental science and extensive experience protecting amphibians and get an actual paying job that allows them to save the frogs all day long, in mentoring students. And as I said, distributing over $180,000 of grants to grow the Save the Frogs community and just to make the world a much more amphibian friendly place with a lot more people and mimlings involved dedicated to amphibian conservation, I think is what I'm most proud of.
Yeah, that's definitely something to be proud of, for sure. Okay. I know you talked about going to a lot of different places to help with restoring habitats. What is it like to go to these places, and what's kind of involved? Like, what do you do when you're there?
Yeah, it depends what the project is, but one of my favorite things is going out into nature. That's how I got into all of this, because I like to camp out and spend a lot of time hiking outside and out in nature, hanging out at ponds and streams, listening to wildlife and experiencing the beauty of the world. So yeah, our eco tours in particular, we go to really amazing places. We try to go far away from the city. Sometimes that involves getting on a boat and going up a river, or otherwise, going up a bad dirt road or muddy road and getting out there hiking in sometimes, and finding the most frogged out places, swamps, or just beautiful rainforest, and walking around and looking for frogs on the eco tours. We're not trying to do anything other than find and photograph frogs. But sometimes, like recently, we helped fund some wetlands that got built in New Mexico earlier this month. So that could entail going out there, putting on some clothes that are going to get dirty, and digging with a shovel and using a rake and moving the land to create a depression, basically a satellite-shaped depression that's going to fill with water. And that often takes, the ones we build, they're oftentimes maybe 50 feet across in diameter or so. And that could take 1, 2, or 3 days, and usually get 20 or 30 volunteers out there and a wetland expert who helps with the design. So it just depends. There's also a lot of what we fund with the grants of scientific research. People may be out there surveying for frogs, trying to find where they are, collecting samples non-invasively, which would be running a cotton swab over the skin of the frog to collect any DNA that they can test in the lab to see if the frog has disease. So a lot of things depending on what's going on and where it is, but it's always fun to be outside, and certainly most people enjoy getting out there into nature.
Yeah, that sounds super cool. Lots of hard work, but sounds really cool. I definitely like the idea of like taking pictures. So I guess I don't know if I've told you the story of how like I found your website and how I got.
I don't think you have.
Okay, so last year I played a game. It was a demo of a game called Kamaru, and it's like a frog wetland building game. It's really pretty. So it's got beautiful music, very relaxing. It's kind of watercolored kind of artwork. It's very peaceful, and so you're given these tasks. You have to it's just like a patch of land, kind of like what you described, and you have to plant some plants and add some water and like add some ponds, and then frogs start coming, and you get to take pictures of them and see different ones, like try to collect pictures of all different kinds of frog species that come in. You have to collect bugs to feed them and stuff like that. But it's really peaceful and calm and just happy. it just made me so happy. Anyway, I was sucked into it, and I fell in love with it, and I was like, oh, I want to live here. I want to work here. I want to be a frog expert. No. But so anyway, so I was trying to see if there were places near me that I could volunteer to help, and I didn't really find anything good in my local area. And so but I came across your website, and it was right before it was soon before Frog Day, and so that's why I got involved in Save the Frogs last year.
Well, send me a link to the game, because it sounds like a pretty enjoyable game.
It's great. Yeah, it's fully released now. So it was the demo at the time, but now it's fully released, and there's extra levels to it. But yeah, I'll be happy to send you the link to it. It's really cute. I'd love to hear what you think about it. But I really fell in love with it, and that's how I got really inspired to help out your organization, because that kind of. Well,
I'm glad you found us and contacted us.
Yeah. Okay, I have just a couple more questions for you before we close. So let's see. All right, so this one is I know you've talked about a bunch of the projects that you've already completed. What kind of projects are you working on now, or that are coming up soon?
Yeah, let's see. Right now, I'm busy assessing about 60 grant applications that have come in. It was our most popular grant round that we've ever held. Our Save the Frogs grant program is getting more well known, I think, and there's more people out there wanting to help frogs. So right now, that's a lot of it. As I said, I was just in India and Nepal for the last 6 months and meeting with Save the Frogs people there and giving presentations. And so that's what's keeping me busy for right now. After that, I'm going to start planning out our next eco tour. And then we always have things that are kind of happening year round that people can take part in. I know you said you're teaming up with some artists. Yeah. We have a Save the Frogs art contest that has gotten probably 20,000 plus entries over the years. I encourage anyone with artistic skill to go to savethefrogs.com/art and check out the art there and submit your own entry. It's free to enter. We also have a Save the Frogs photo contest, and you can enter both of those right now. The deadline is later this year, but you've got time right now. And anyway, they go all year round. Nice. So yeah, take part in those, and then we're always adding up articles and writing about our past successes and adding that stuff to the SaveTheFrogs.com website.
Very cool. That's super cool. Okay, so send in your art. Send in your photos. That's cool. Okay, so is there any big wish list projects that you're dream of being able to do, or things that you're hoping that you could fund one day, kind of things?
Yeah, that's a good question. Let's see. It would be awesome to own some land where we could, have our own land where we could do whatever we want, such as build wetlands and restore that land, and host regular events there, training events, and kind of, eco tours or mini tours, and just have our own frog fantasy land to do whatever we want, but in real life. So currently we just team up with tons of people, but yeah, it would be awesome to own our own land. Yeah. So if anyone out there wants to donate some land, that would be awesome. But yeah, for now, what I always do, you do what you can with the money that you have and the resources that you have, and yeah, maybe one day.
Yeah, keep that dream. That's a fantastic dream. I love it. I hope you make it. That'd be super cool. Okay, last question I have is, what is the biggest takeaway that from my viewers about the importance of saving the frogs? So, what's your biggest takeaway for people watching this?
All right, saving the frogs is important and Mim enjoyable too. Yeah, I think it's a healthy pursuit, intellectually, spiritually, and good for the planet and for people and the wildlife and the communities that you go into. Usually people are very happy to hear about frog saving, frog conservation activities, and even to take part. And let's see, you just, as I said, educate yourself, go to savethefrogs.com, learn about frogs, learn how you can help, and then just pick one thing and do it, and then keep on going. That's what I've been doing for over 20 years. You just start doing stuff. You won't run out of ways to save the frogs, and the world will be a better place because of you.
Yeah. Oh, that was perfect. Thank you. That's wonderful. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me for this interview. I think this was super amazing. It was very educational, and I think it'll really help everyone to learn a little bit more about your organization, what they can do, all of this information that you have on your website that can help educate everyone and share your passion and inspire others. I think that's fantastic. So thank you. I really appreciate you taking the time to do that.
All right, Mim, it was a pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much for helping save the frogs. And thank you, all the Mimlings out there. Enjoy your day. Good luck with all your frog saving activities, and stay in touch.
Thank you.